Good afternoon, Meaty families. This is Mrs. Dart, and I am bringing you the most untraditional back to school night I've ever experienced. Thought it might be a really great way to kick off our school year with sending you some information about what distance learning might look like in your child's classroom, but how we kind of got to this situation. So if you take a look at our cover for our slideshow, this is a Bitmoji classroom, and all of your teachers are going to be using Google Classroom, and they've created Bitmojis of themselves. It's a really fun, interactive way to keep kids engaged while they're distance learning. Also, I'd like to note that we are celebrating our 5th year of being a school, so congratulations to all those families who've helped make that happen. I'll apologize in advance if you see any furry friends in the background. That's going to be Finn laying down, and Peanut and Chewy are on my couch. So we're going to keep it moving here. Oops. Move me up a little bit. Okay, let's play. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I have felt like the past few months has felt like a constant readjustment. We're asked to be flexible, we're asked to change, we take one step forward and then we take a few to the side and then backwards. But this quote has really resonated with me and how I feel about school this particular summer. The art of life lies in the constant readjustment to our surroundings. I thought that was a really nice way to make it lemonade out of lemons. All right, so just want to give you a little bit of an update. We left you last year at the end of May technically. However, we didn't get to see you since last March. But just want to give you some summer updates of what we've been up to. As soon as school officially ended in May, NP3 administration got together, and at that point we decided that if everything's safe, we wanted to work with a hybrid schedule for our high school, but then a modified full-time schedule for our elementary school. You filled out some amazing surveys, gave us great data on what would be best for your families and how we could best prepare. Well, right around that time, AB 77, a budget trailer bill, was passed. And at that time, there were some very specific requirements created for schools as they moved to a distance learning approach. Those included mandatory attendance, live instruction, and supports for special education and English language learning students. Charter schools, through all of this, their monitoring became really intense, where they need to include audits on attendance, instructional minutes, how they're spending monies, and it was required that credentialed teachers deliver new content. The purpose of this budget trailer bill, or AB 77, was to ensure that all students were receiving an equitable education. I felt really good when I was hearing this because we already were doing so many of these things that were outlined in the bill. If you take a look at, the bottom of this slide, there are a couple of links that will give you some more information. Also during that time in June and July, your NP3 staff, elementary staff, we created an implementation team. And it was an optional voluntary committee of teachers and others that were meeting to discuss best ideas for scheduling, our school map, and social distancing. So we were really excited because in July we were able to open, Mr. Jean was able to open our NP3 summer program. And it was great just to even see a few kids at our middle and high school. And then we met on July 14th. And at that time, we presented our reopening plan to our executive director, and literally 5 minutes later, no joke, we get together and we learn that Sacramento County of Education is going to recommend that all 13 Sacramento County districts open with distance learning. So that took all of our plans, kind of threw them out the window, and that's what brought us to the present. In the past few days, Governor Newsom has issued new frameworks and guidances for school reopening. Elementary teachers were made aware of what would be happening, and then we start our 5-day professional development. In the past week, your teachers have been working like gangbusters, getting their materials ready, getting kids' materials ready, listening to best practices and learning about best practices with distance learning, and just doing whatever they can to ensure a smooth start for families. And now today, Sunday at noon, I am presenting our back to school presentation to your homes. Okay, so I wanted to give you a little bit more information about the education trailer bill. Like I said, the purpose is to ensure that our students receive a fair, equitable, and quality education. Want to try and level the playing field. You've heard a lot in the news about the state of education, especially in California. And this also allows for special populations to receive an equitable education. Part of the distance learning requirements that you may not be aware of is that we needed to include live instruction, math, and ELA as much as possible, which we were doing last year. So this year, your teachers will live instruct in math and ELA. They are going to record their versions and put them up on Google Classroom for families who may not be able to access that live instruction due to work or other commitments. Google Classroom will become your best friend. Your teachers will explain that. Also with the distance learning requirements, the safety measure was so that everything we do distance learning needs to be comparable to being at school. Although that's not going to make it the most engaging environment compared to when your kids are on campus, because we know being on campus is what's best. We're trying to make it comparable. Daily attendance, this is coming from this AB 77, it must be monitored and tracked. So we will take attendance, your teachers will explain their procedures for that, and then we will track it. So if kiddos are not making live instruction, we'll circle back with you to find out what's going on, how we can help. Students will need to complete a minimum number of daily work minutes. This is where this was not at all a problem for us last year. The state of California has actually cut work minutes to make distance learning more realistic for families. And then this is new for you. Teachers are going to now indicate how many minutes should be spent on each assignment. And that's to help families kind of budget their time. If they are not in the home or they want to be in the home when their kiddos are learning. Okay, and then teachers also need to track student work completion and participation. Last year, we were really big on making sure you knew that distance learning was an option, and we were really in what was called crisis teaching. However, we are not in crisis teaching now. This is school. So teachers will be in contact with you if kiddos are not able to get their work completed or if they're worried about participation. All students are going to receive a Chromebook and the required textbooks. And hotspots will be distributed to students who do not have reliable internet access. We are asking with hotspots, if you need one, you contact the office directly so that we can work on that. Free and reduced lunch services will still be provided at the Del Paso campus, and classwork instruction would need to be aligned and grade appropriate. And that, again, I'm not worried about any of this. Your kiddos, if you felt like you had a handle on spring distance learning, you are just going to be A-okay. Okay, let's see. All right, so here are those daily instructional minutes from California. Kindergarten is at 180 minutes. And the way that looks, I'll explain that to you. I don't want you to freak out and think your kindergartner is going to be sitting at a computer for 180 minutes. It's not like that. First through third grade will be 230 minutes, fourth and fifth, 240 minutes. Just a little side note, 4th through 12th grade are actually at 240 minutes. And then with the instructional minutes, it needs to include consistent live instruction. However, it does not need to be all live instruction. And I hope that your teachers are going to be able to differentiate that for you as far as in their explanations. If you need any assistance in understanding what that means, just reach out and I'll help you. Okay, so this part is different from the spring. I'm really excited about this. Our NP3 staff will instruct from campus. The reason why we want to do this is we want to make sure your kiddos and you have everything you need. And for the teachers, last year when they left, we had to close campus, and it was like, take your projector, take your ladybug, take whatever you need to get through. So this year will be nice is they'll be in the classroom, they'll be able to use the anchor charts, they'll be able to set up their classroom in a way where it feels a little more formal for your kiddos. And it'll also allow your kiddos to get in that school mindset. So we're hopeful that this will establish routines for your kiddos. It will help make the transition back into the classroom easier. And we're also hopeful that it helps teachers. Okay, so you have your master mateys. These are the names of your teachers, and all of you should have received phone calls from your teachers. Some of you may have a message from your teacher waiting for you. If you have not heard from your teacher, please contact the office as soon as possible so we can make sure that you connect with your teacher before they're back to school distance learning nights. So in kindergarten, we have Miss Gonzalez, Miss Lowe, Miss May. First, Miss Draper, Miss Linan, Miss Manner. In second grade, this is our class from, remember first we had the 3 classrooms, so we needed to add a third teacher. And so we have Miss Vinesh, Miss Joseph, and Miss Orr. Miss Orr is making that move from 5th grade. How exciting. In third, Miss Greenstein, Miss Real. In fourth, Miss Sisney, Miss Pure are joining us again. And in fifth, Miss Vistoso, Miss Moore. Our tech support and STEM teacher is Miss Johnson. Please do not hesitate to contact her. I've included her contact information at the end of this slideshow. The first quarter, she will be your go-to for all things tech, and she has a tech ticket prepared. She'll spend hours on the phone with her if you need her. PE, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, is going to be pushing instruction out through Google Classroom. We have in special education, we have Miss Diaz and Miss Barnett. Miss Barnett is new to us from Two Rivers. She'll be working with us and Paso Verde. Our instructional assistants, Miss Carvalho, Miss Franklin, Miss Machini, Miss Ramirez, Miss Shidley, Miss Yock. Our MAP, or our Matey After School Program Coordinator, is Mr. Jean. In custodial, we have Mr. Cesar and Mr. Dennis. Mr. Dennis joined our team last year. You may have seen him around campus. Front desk, we have Miss Erica Westerfield and Miss Gloria Avila. The reason why I include their first names is because the kids always call them Miss Erica and Miss Gloria. I am your principal. You can call me Miss Dart, Mrs. Dart, Ms. Dart, whatever. And then Miss Baker is your counselor and vice principal. Okay, thank you. Okay, so our proposed schedules. This is a proposed schedule for Monday through Thursday. Teachers, however, will share their individual schedules with you. Between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 a.m., I'm asking teachers to offer their live instruction sessions so that kiddos, as they wake up, they can build some consistency. Something that I noticed with my own daughter, who is going into 9th grade, is if her teacher started a class later, she was up like 5 minutes beforehand. So we want to give families the opportunity first to get their work and whatever they need to do situated. Kids are up, they've had breakfast, they're ready to go. We will not, this year, we're not in crisis teaching right now. This is school. So if you hear teachers saying, sit up, you need to get out of bed, that's because we're trying to get kids back to school ready. I'm a terrible mother. I'm even making my daughter brush her teeth before she goes to class now. But live instruction will include English language arts, and that's going to be phonics, reading, writing, and then math. And lastly, morning meeting. Most of your classes will start with morning meeting. There may be a time where your class wants to end with morning meeting for the day or call it afternoon meeting. These live instruction sessions will be offered by a credentialed teacher. They might be in short spurts, or they might be mini lessons. So this is what I meant. You're not going to have your kiddos in front of the computer for 3 hours. What might happen is the teacher might say, okay, I want you to watch this mini lesson. You're going to watch it for maybe 2 to 3 minutes of them teaching. And they might teach the letter A or the short A sound. They might be like, ah, 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 repeat, and the kids are saying, ah, 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 ah. So then they may say, okay, now go to your activity, and it might be what we affectionately know as worksheets. They may go to the worksheet, they may complete the A. It's the whatever little activity. Teachers then may say, okay, after you complete that activity, why don't you go do your bathroom break, get a drink of water, and then come back. So teachers are going to try and simulate what it's really like in a classroom. Your kiddos in a classroom, believe it or not, do not sit in their chair for 3 hours straight. They're up. We use a lot of flexible seating, and we do a lot of flexible grouping. So kids are moving all the time. So your teachers will go over how that looks for you. And our goal is to really make sure you're able to carry on your life. The purpose is not for you to sit right next to your kiddo and monitor or babysit them the whole time. If you're finding that it's a struggle, that's when you're going to want to communicate with your teacher, and we can help give strategies or just help you out with that. And then from 12 to 1 p.m., 12 to 1 p.m., that's going to be our independent work or flexible grouping time. Kinders can use this at their discretion. So if your kinders, they've given you work and maybe they want to meet with a kiddo one-on-one to work on something, they may use this time for that. First through fifth grade, depending on how many minutes they need to do in their day, it's going to be 50 to 60 minutes of instruction. This doesn't have to be live. So you may find one of your teachers is like, okay, we are studying about living organisms. What I'd like you to do is watch this 10-minute video clip and then maybe do some research about that particular lesson and then complete this assignment. So that is going to be a little more flexible. If you're finding that that time is hard, just let them know. And then between the hours of 12 and 3, your teachers are going to engage in, well, first they're going to eat lunch, they need to eat. But then they're going to engage in small group collaboration, just like they've done before, professional development opportunities, and they may even pull kids and say, all right, I need this time, I want to meet these 5 kids in a Zoom breakout room. Or they're going to use this time to connect with families. If the 12 to 3 o'clock p.m. doesn't work, teachers will have Sign Up Genius, or they might use a different platform for you to schedule meetings with them to talk. Okay. Oops. I am going backwards. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. I'm using an app or an extension called Loom, and I don't do this all the time, so I'm not super proficient. And for our kindergarten families, if you don't know me, I move around a lot, so it's really hard for me to sit in this chair right now, so thank you. Okay, so a school schedule for Friday. Friday's going to look a little different, where between 9 and 11 a.m., the kiddos are going to really engage in like morning meeting, assessments, that small group interactive and differentiated instruction, and PE lessons. And then at 12 o'clock, this is where I'm going to steal your teachers and talk to them about professional development. We'll do what we call, affectionately at our school, we call it crew work, where we have a shared leadership model at school where teachers identify what needs to be done, and then they help solve those problems or come up with solutions. So that's what our schedule is going to look like on Friday. Again, teachers are going to share their individual schedules with you. And please understand the first couple of weeks really will be about building community. Teachers will go over that with you. And they may add on to minutes as they see the kids' stamina build. I mean, if you really think about it, your kiddos have not been in traditional schooling since March, and that's a very long time. And for some of your now first graders, they've been out of school longer than they were in school with us. So we need to help them readjust. Okay, so here are the educational guidelines from California. Instructional minutes can be counted as, they can be live instruction as much as possible, small group instruction, recorded teaching. That's going to be kind of like what I'm doing right now. I love this option because it allows our teachers to flip classroom learning, but then it also allows kiddos to pause and work at their own pace. Independent book work, packet type work, assigned readings, videos, one-on-one meetings, assessments, tutoring, PE, structured brain breaks, virtual field trips, project work, pretty much anything that can be identified as valuable, rigorous, and grade level. Sorry, that's kind of cut off. Move my slide over. This is all what we engaged in last spring. So I hope you feel better about what we did as a school site in spring. Here's this change I was talking about with the minutes needing to be attached to assignments. For example, if you're in Google Classroom, you should see that they're going to make it very simple for you. Kiddos are going to watch Zern Lesson 8. Now your teacher might write, watch Module 1 Zern Lesson, or they may say, watch Zern Lesson multiplying 2-digit by 1-digit numbers, Lesson 8, 20 minutes. It's just to signify or note the amount of minutes they think on average it should take. Now I ask them to round up because I think that's better for family planning or just for your kiddos for planning. And I also ask them to add minutes to allow for kids who need to take a break, kids that need to set up their technology, allow for, families who are like, whoa, I'm on an important call. I need you to just be really, really quiet, or I need the house quiet. Or even allow, surprised my dogs aren't barking right now, but as soon as someone walks by, they will. Just to allow for the daily interruptions that happen. Okay, accountability. This part is a big shift for some of us, but I don't want you to be scared of it. Your teachers will go over it. It's just some of these words, when you see them, you can get nervous. Student attendance is mandatory. I'm sure you've seen the statistics. We're very concerned about kids and their social, emotional well-being and just their mental health, your mental health. So student attendance is mandatory. Teachers are going to monitor attendance during each lesson. If your kiddos are not participating, or maybe you think they're on the computer while you're at work and they're not, we'll contact you because we want to make sure we have a really great understanding of what's happening. Families, we're asking that you contact the teacher directly if your kiddo is going to be absent. It's really easy for us if you send your teacher an email, because what is expected now is that kiddos complete that missed work, and it'll allow us to make sure that we're organized for them. We do have a distance learning handbook coming your way. Last year I sent something home, probably a dissertation, and we're trying to just kind of weed out what we really have to do, what is not pertinent anymore. It's still under construction just because so many things continue to change. We are starting school early compared to a large portion of the state of California, so there are more changes coming. And we're asking that during live instruction, students show their faces on camera. This is to ensure their safety, but also we want to make sure that the kiddos, they're understanding this is their schoolwork. This isn't their sister's. It's not if you have a high schooler at home who's trying to help and, they're asking brother or sister like, hey, is this the correct answer? We want to make sure that we know what the kiddos can do. Plus, we want you to be able to go and do what you need to do. Your teachers will talk more about that as well. And we're asking that for all NP3 students, not just at the elementary. Okay, so you have a materials distribution starting tomorrow. If you have been at NP3 elementary before, were with us last spring, we did this for all of our textbooks. And then if you needed a Chromebook, we had that for you as well. So our materials distribution will start tomorrow morning, and you are to come when your last name is there. If you can't, just contact the office and fill out a tech ticket from our website. If you fill out a tech ticket, we pull your Chromebook and we just can get to you sooner that way. Kindergarten teachers have scheduled times with their families, and they're distributing materials to their families and the siblings of those kiddos, just so that they can assess incoming students. We usually have our kindergarten roundup, and then we will need to schedule a second materials pickup date because, again, with everything going on, books, practice books, things that we ordered are not here yet, and we want to ensure that all kids get what they need. So we'll probably have to schedule something in a couple of weeks for you just to come and pick up materials. Okay, so you're going to have official back to school night, online orientations, back to school distance learning night. Your teachers are going to contact you with that. Some teachers are holding multiple nights. That's awesome. But these are the specific times that we set up in case you have siblings in other classes or grade levels. So August 6th will be our kindergarten, first and second grade, and that will be Thursday. And then August 5th, Wednesday, will be third, fourth, and fifth grade. They'll hold that similarly to spring, where it's a Zoom meeting. Teachers are going to go over their expectations, processes, procedures, accountability. Teachers may offer another time if this isn't good for you, but you can receive a recording of your teacher's back to school night, and it'll be available at the website. And here's a nice little link to our website. Okay. All right, so our first week, purpose of our first week, we want to make sure you have everything you need, your technology. We want kiddos and you to be able to practice Google Classroom and morning meeting, that format. The schedule will look like this, Monday through Wednesday. We're really focused on making sure all families have their materials and tech distribution. Some teachers may offer some morning meetings for kiddos who already know how to log in and do those things. And then Thursday, morning meeting and live distance learning instruction begins. So we know they'll be ready. You can do it. And then the expectations are classroom and grade level teachers build an online classroom community. And then expectations are classroom and Zoom norms, mission statements, online learning expectations. Okay. Our homeschool communication, it won't change too much. However, the content of it may look a little different. So we will continue, with our weekly matey message. The weekly matey message will shift more to a teacher or grade level focus. There won't be as many all school announcements. So I will push information to your teachers and they will share that out with you. It'll be distributed to staff on Friday afternoons during distance learning. Usually we give it to staff on Monday mornings, but the reason why we want to give them on Friday afternoon is so that on Mondays they can send it out to you with their teaching and distance learning plans for the week. And then the expectation is that there are family check-ins bi-weekly or as often as needed, that teachers take advantage of using Zoom, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, or Google Duo. And families, if you would like check-ins from me, Mrs. Starr, or from Miss Baker, our counselor, just let us know. I was checking in with students in the spring. It was awesome. I love just jumping on FaceTime with a couple of them, and those can be as you need them, as you don't. Sometimes families would just text me and say, hey, I need a check-in today. Cool. Other times they might say, oh, we're okay. We're doing all right. So totally up to you. But we are here for you. Please notice no Friday folder is on there. For our kindergarten parents, we have a Friday folder, and every Friday we'll stuff it with work or notices that need to go home to you with you returning it. Obviously aren't going to do that during distance learning. So your teachers will have a way for you to kind of track what's going on at home and at school, and they'll explain that during their distance learning night. Okay, great. Okay, so NP3 K-12 is going to use Google Classroom as its primary learning platform. Believe it or not, we are going to do this in kindergarten, and we can. These kids are much better at this stuff than some of us. Rubrics will communicate the grade level standards and proficiency. So teachers aren't going to say, okay, yep, that was totally a 4, 3, 2, or 1. They may just give a rubric with descriptors of how kiddos are doing without a number attached. Work completion is not optional. It will need to be completed. If you're struggling at home to get work completed, please let your teacher know. And then teachers are going to communicate those biweekly check-ins. Conferences, we still will have conferences. Unfortunately, they will have to be held via Zoom. They cannot be in person, but they will be during the same conference week we had scheduled, and that's September 21st through September 25th. If you don't know, our Q1 conferences are always to set year-long learning goals, articulate current achievement, and to just kind of talk about the students, get to know students and families better. I have a feeling with distance learning, you will know each other very well by the time conferences come around. Okay, so this is our counselor, Miss Baker. Our kindergarten families, you might have spent more time with her than anyone because she conducted tours. For our returning families, Miss Baker was out last year having baby Cooper, so she's back with us full time. She wants you to call her if you need anything, email her. She has an article on our website if you want to know more about kind of like what her role at school is. And I know she's working on her own Bitmoji classroom that's really cute. And then who is probably going to become, for some of you, your best friend, Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson is our tech support for distance learning. She also is our STEM teacher. She has a variety of ways that you can get hold of her. You can call 717 NP3 Tech, or you can fill out the tech support form at the top. Just be super descriptive. She's really good with her turnaround. She gives, I think, like Apple, Google a run for their money. It's awesome. Okay, so then here's your office support. You probably all know Miss Erica, Miss Gloria. When you're calling, they will be your go-tos when you call, and they might put you through to me. A lot of times in the summer when you called, it was me answering, and sometimes if I didn't know the answer, I just wouldn't even tell you who I was because I didn't want to let it slip. But yeah, all three of us will be answering the phones, and we'll be there to help you out if you need it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Miss Erica, Miss Gloria are an awesome team. They're just the kindest, sweetest peaches. When you come or need anything at school, you're going to come through the front door, and Miss Erica, Miss Gloria would be the people that you would talk to. Okay, so back on campus. We have no idea when we will be back on campus. We are hoping that by the end of September, we're going to know our next steps. There are a lot of benchmarks we have to meet as well as a state, as a county, as a school site before we are allowed to bring students back on campus. But when we do, I'll have another presentation to just kind of share what it's looking like. We made a lot of changes to the school campus. For example, classroom desks. We made sure everything had been pushed so far apart. We are going to set up colored lines that only kids can walk in certain spots. We have new custodial procedures. So those are going to be really important to share with you when we come back. And then we also would like to share with especially our kindergarten families what it's like to be on our campus. But until then, if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me, reach out to Erica, Gloria, Miss Johnson, Miss Baker, your classroom teachers. We're here for you. We do not exist without you. We love you. We miss you. And we just hope to see you very, very, very soon. I know this is a really difficult time. Hang in there. We've been doing such a great job of it so far. We're just, 2020 is just going to be that year for all of us that we'll never forget. I never thought I'd be doing this, but I miss you all so much, and I hope your kids and you are safe. If you need any support, you just need someone to listen or talk to, please feel free to reach out, okay? All right, I think that's enough. It looks like we've been at this for about 30 minutes. I apologize. Hopefully you just pause and come back to it. Talk to you soon. Bye.